All right, welcome to this Kin Stretch class. Today we're going to be working on shoulder external rotation and hip internal and external rotation. We're going to start off this class with our warm-up. We're going to do our CARS routine, which stands for Controlled Articular Rotations. We're going to be starting at the head and working on down to the toe. So you can do this first one either standing or in a tall kneeling position. So I'm just going to ask Michelle to get into a tall kneeling position. From here, she's going to make a fist with both hands. We're going to try to control just the neck. We're going to move only from the neck. I want everything else to stay nice and stationary. So she's going to just tense up a little bit in her hands and just try to tense her entire body up. From there, she's going to tuck her chin down towards her sternum. She's going to trace her collarbone. She's going to trace her right collarbone, bringing her chin to her right shoulder. From there, she's going to look over her right shoulder, and then she's going to make a big circle, the biggest pain-free circle she can take. She'll end with a left shoulder look over, and then she'll retrace her left collarbone back to center. She's going to do 2 circles here. Again, starting with the tracing of the collarbone, then looking over the shoulder, then taking the big circle around. Once she gets back to center, she'll reset. She'll look straight ahead, and then she'll repeat this on her left side. So chin to sternum, trace that left collarbone, look over left shoulder, and then a big circle up and around. You'll notice her body is staying very still. We're moving only from the neck on this one. So we're trying to take the biggest range of motion we can. With all of these CARS exercises we're about to warm up with, we want to move at a very slow 1 mile per hour type of pace. So that's it for the neck. We're now going to do her thoracic spine or T-spine. So she's going to take her arm, she's going to create an X over her chest, grabbing her shoulders. From here, she's going to flex over, flex forward, good. Then she's going to torso turn to her right. Once she can't go any further, she'll tilt laterally to her right, and then she's going to arc around, creating the biggest circle, moving only from that thoracic spine, that mid-back. She'll then bring it back around. She's going to do 2 circles here. Same exact thing, leading with the rotation, then the lateral flex, and then the tilt back and around. She'll reset at center, do the same thing, flex forward again, torso tilt to the left, laterally flex, and up and around. Her hips are staying very still. So if we place foam rollers to the right and left of her hips, the foam rollers would not get knocked over. All right, so we're moving only from that thoracic spine. Awesome. For the next one, we're going to do a shoulder now. We're going to do her right arm first. So she's going to flex her fist. Both fists will be flexed. She's going to come across her body. She's externally rotated so her palm is facing the sky. From there, she's going to bring the arm up and over, bringing her bicep next to her cheek and her ear. Once she can't reach back any further, she'll internally rotate the shoulder, bringing her hand back, like she's wringing out a towel the entire time. Then she'll re-bring it back. Once she can't bring it up anymore, then she'll externally rotate that hand, bring it back towards her pocket. She's going to do 2 repetitions here. Again, moving nice and slow. And the entire time, we're just wringing that shoulder out and trying to get maximum external rotation and then maximal internal rotation. Palm is facing that way right now. Reaching back, trying to stay as close to her midline as humanly possible. So we're not letting that arm flare out excessively to the side. She's got her 2 reps. Now we'll go ahead and do the same thing on the left side. So palm is facing up. Maximal external rotation, reaching as far back as she can. Once she can't reach any further back, she then spins the arm around into internal rotation. Palm is facing to the left, thumb is pointing backwards. Reaching back again, as much as she can, then twisting that arm around and bringing the left hand to the sky, palm to the sky to her right pocket. 1 more rep. Again, you can do this standing or in a tall kneeling position. After this one, we're going to drop down onto a quadruped position. We're going to go hands and knees. Okay, so now we're in our quadruped position. We're going to do a cat-camel. We're going to move very slowly again, and instead of moving more globally, we're going to try to move each vertebrae individually. All right, so it's going to be very slow and controlled. So we're going to start off with a neutral spine to start. She's then going to lift her head up. Moving from the head down, we're going to try to move each vertebrae one by one, hitting it into an arch position. So she's slowly just going to push downwards, getting into that cat position. Once she's fully extended, ending with the tailbone, She's now going to start tucking the tailbone under her body, and then vertebrae by vertebrae getting into that rounded. Last thing to move will be the neck. She'll then end with a full chin tuck. And then we're just going to reverse that action. She's going to start by lifting the head up, and then once again, vertebrae by vertebrae, tilting back into that extension pattern. And now we're going to be in that full extension pattern, and now we're just going to change it up. We're going to start tucking the chin first, and now we're going to get into that rounded position. So she's going to start rounding. She's going to start protracting the shoulder blade, pushing her sternum away from the floor, getting into that full maximal rounded position. Tailbone's the last thing that tucks under. And now she's going to start lifting up that head, going into that extension pattern now. Vertebrae, single, one at a time. Good. While we're in this quadrille position, we're going to go back into a neutral position now. We're now going to work the hip. If you have a block or a book, you can put it on the low back. So we want to make sure that we're only moving from the hip. So this is just going to be a cue to keep the low back nice and still and the upper back nice and still. So we're going to do a fire hydrant type pattern. So she's going to start off with her right knee. She's going to bring her right knee towards her right elbow. From here, she's going to internally rotate. So she's going to kick that foot out, keep the knee in. And now she's going to take the biggest, slowest circle she can up and around into full hip extension here. Notice the low back is staying nice and still. She's going to bring the knee back to the starting position. And then she's going to reverse that action. So now she's going to extend up nice and slow, nice and tall, as high up as you can humanly get. And now she's going to kick that knee out to the side. The foot's going to trail behind. She's going to bring that knee towards her elbow. Bring it back to the start position. And then we'll reset and begin one more repetition. So knee towards the elbow. Internally rotate, kick the foot out, keep the knee where it is. And then draw the biggest circle with that right knee that you can. Full extension. Bringing that knee back towards the elbow. Perfect. That's 1 rep, or 2 reps. Yep, there we are. Draw that big circle. Perfect. Right knee is down. Time for the left leg. Left knee to left elbow. Kick the left foot out. Then take the knee and draw the biggest circle you can. Get that foot nice and high up there. And then we're going to bring that left knee towards the elbow, extend up to the sky with that foot, reach that foot to the sky, draw that big circle with that knee. Perfect. And one more time, knee to elbow, foot out, draw that circle. Extend up, push your knee outwards. Perfect. So that's our quadruped part of our CARS routine. She's now going to take a seat on her butt. We're going to do our ankles now. So we'll continue on with the right side going first. She's going to throw her right arm underneath her right knee. She's then going to place her left hand on her shin. We want to move only from the ankle on here. So she's going to start off by dorsiflexing her right foot, bringing her toe towards her shin. And then she's going to internally rotate, bringing her foot inwards towards her midline as much as she can. And then she's going to gas pedal down into plantar flexion and then circle around. Nice and slow. We're going to do 2 circles in this counterclockwise, and then we're going to do 2 circles in a clockwise manner. So that's her second circle. She'll restart. She's now going to her right, plantar flexing down. Might have a little crickety cracks and some pops on this. Just make sure we're staying in a pain-free range of motion here. Once she's got her second circle in the opposite direction complete, I'm going to do the same exact thing on the left leg. So now it's left arm under left knee, right hand's locking that shin in place. She starts with that dorsiflexion, internal rotation, driving that foot down towards the ground. Again, nice and slow, getting these joints nice and warmed up and brought through a full range of motion. After the second circle, our warm-up's complete, and we'll go into the actual workout. All right, so our next activity, we're going to be working on shoulder external rotation. So you're going to need a PVC pipe, or you're going to need a chair or a table nearby. You can use the leg of the chair or the table the same way that we're going to use this PVC pipe. All right, so we're going to start off We're gonna get into a nice stretch. So we're gonna take that right arm. She's gonna climb up this PVC pipe, keeping her right elbow down on the ground. We're trying to get this stretch on the right shoulder. All right, so she's found her stretch here. Elbows in line with the shoulder. If you have a small object like a shirt or a towel, you can put it right underneath that elbow. Keep that elbow right in line with the shoulder. So now we're gonna find that stretch and we're gonna be here for 2 minutes. All right, so we're just relaxed. We're breathing in and out, slow and controlled through the nose. All right, so this is purely nasal breathing while we're in this 2-minute stretch. Got our clock going right here. So we're just gonna hang out here for 2 minutes stretching. This is just a general static stretch. Once the 2 minutes is up, we're gonna do something called a Pales Rails contraction. So what's gonna happen is she's gonna grip that pipe at the 2-minute mark, and she's gonna gently at first internally rotate into that pipe. She's trying to drive her palm down towards the ground, but her palm won't actually move because she's gripping that pipe. We're gonna ramp up intensity. We're gonna start off at a 20% effort. So think about a scale being right underneath this PVC pipe. We're gonna wanna show, we'll say 20 pounds pushing into that scale. We're gonna slowly ramp up 1% at a time, going from 20 all the way to 100. I'll keep calling out numbers. I just want you to gradually build into intensity. Once we get to 100%, we're gonna do our greatest, safest effort, driving down as hard as we can into that pipe for 10 seconds. When the 10 seconds is up, we're gonna reverse the muscle action. She's gonna then try to actually lift the pipe up off the ground. She's gonna go into external rotation. She's gonna be trying to lift up and trying to get almost into a deeper stretch. We're gonna do 1 rep of this. All right, so our 2 minutes is up in 7 seconds. In 2. She's gonna take a nice breath in, and she's going to 20% effort, push down. So she's gripping that pipe and just pushing down. We're gonna ramp up, we're at 40% now. Now we're just gradually turning that dial up to 100. We're at 60%. 60% effort, driving down. 80%. Start feeling a little bit of a muscle burn, maybe a little bit of a shake right now. And 100, greatest, safest effort, 100% for 10 seconds. Halfway there, 5 more seconds. 3, we're gonna reverse the action. And now she's gonna try to lift up. So now she's externally rotating, she's trying to pull this hand up to the ceiling. Halfway there. 3, 2, 1, and relax. Just try to capture any new range of motion that we may have gotten. Just relax. Now we're back to that slow and controlled nasal breathing. We'll be here for 30 seconds now. So in 20 seconds from now, we're gonna do something called a passive range hold. So what I'm gonna ask her to do is just, if she can, she might not be able to, climb up just a little bit higher off the pipe. We'll do this in 10 seconds from now. Then what she's gonna do, so she's in a passive range of motion that she cannot normally actively get to by just lifting her arm up. And she's then gonna release the pipe, and she's gonna do her best to hold that position without actually grabbing the pipe. So using her shoulder to hold that position. We'll do that for 5 seconds, and we're gonna do that for reps. All right, so it's go time now. So she's gonna climb up if she can. She's getting to a hopefully new range of motion that we started at. She's then gonna release her hand from the pipe. Ready, set, and release. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and grab the pipe. Good. She climb up again if she can. If you can't, you hold where it is. We're gonna release again. Ready and release. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and grab. Good. You should be feeling this right in the back of the shoulder. Ready and release. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and grab. Good. We have 2 more reps. We're doing a total of 5. Grab, release. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and grab. Last rep coming up. We're gonna do an extra 2 seconds on this one. We're gonna go a 7-second hold, and she releases. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and grab. So that's our passive range hold there. So now we're good with the pipe, we're good with your chair leg, whatever you were using. All right, so now we're gonna do these lift offs. All right, so I still have her elbow underneath this beanie. Again, use a t-shirt, use a towel, whatever you got. She's got her palm on the block. If you don't have a block, you could use a textbook, a couple of textbooks, shoes, whatever you got to stack up to get yourself into a little bit of a stretch position where you're still able to actually get your hand off of your object. We're gonna do 10 repetitions. She's gonna keep her wrist nice and straight. She's gonna use the external rotators of her shoulder, and she's gonna try to lift and hover her hand off of the object. So you're gonna do 10 reps, parachuting down every single time. So it's very slow and controlled, lifting up as high as she can each rep, trying to keep this shoulder down, just rotating. Good, she's got 10 total reps. Here's rep number 5, halfway there. Should be feeling this in the back of that shoulder. She's got 3 more to go. Again, we're trying to lock in and strengthen you in these new ranges of motion that we've been able to hopefully get to via that pales rails contraction that we started off with. Perfect. She got her 10 reps done. We have one more activity, and then we're done on the right side for the day, and we'll move over to our left side. So she's gonna do a swimmer now. So what she's gonna do is she's gonna have her elbow on the ground, her hand is behind her skull. She's gonna lift her elbow up. She's gonna then get her hand off of her head. She's gonna extend out overhead, and she's gonna bring her arm out behind. She's then gonna internally rotate when she becomes roughly the letter T, brings her palm behind her back, so it is like this right now. She will then lift her elbow up, get her backhand off of her lower back, extend the elbow, come around. Once she can no longer go up, she'll then externally rotate her shoulder and restart back up. We're gonna do 5 repetitions of this. Again, super slow. Really wring out that towel on that rotation of the shoulder. Get that hand as high up on the lower back as humanly possible. Lift the elbow, get the backhand off the lower back, bring it on around, rotate. Perfect. 2 down, 3 to go. If you're not finding this challenging, really slow it down and try to lift that arm up as high as you can off of the back and keep it away from the ground. You got 3 repetitions down and 2 to go. Obviously great for shoulder strength, but also this is great for improving your posture. Just got 1 more rep to go, and then we're gonna move on to that left side. Lifting from the elbow, then the hand, bringing it on around. Perfect. So your right side's complete. Let's mirror that and do it on the left side. So we're going to grab our PVC pipe now, or we'll grab our chair leg, whatever we have to work with. Place the towel or t-shirt underneath the elbow. Just going to grab onto that pipe, climb on up, get a nice little stretch. We're going to do our nice static stretch right now. Remember, nasal breathing for the static stretch. Control your breathing. And we got 2 minutes on the clock. So it's going to be the exact same thing we did before. So after this 2 minutes, we're going to do that pales rails contraction. This is isometric strength training. This is strength training that we're about to do here in a minute and a half from now. This should be hard. This should be intense. We're actually strengthening you. This is not just relaxation, static stretching. This part is, the rest of the workout is not. So remember, we got the ramping of intensity. We'll start at 20. We're doing that internal rotation. We're just driving down into that pipe while grabbing it, slowly ramping up all the way to 100, and then reversing it on the flip. We'll have 10 seconds at 100% of internal rotation, and then 10 seconds of a hard rails contraction of the external rotation. Got 1 more minute to go. So we're nasal breathing now. The 20%, 40% of that pales contraction, also most likely going to be nasal breathing. Your breaths should follow the intensity of the activity. So when we're at 80 and 100% of that pales and rails contraction and doing some of these harder liftoffs, go ahead. If you need to breathe out through the mouth, Whatever you gotta do, it should be a max effort, maximum intensity type thing. But we wanna shift to that nasal breathing during these low intensity exercises to get out of that sympathetic state and try to get more into that parasympathetic state. Okay, so here we go. We got 20% and begin. So remember, she's driving down, trying to bring her pinky finger to the ground. We're at 40% now. Pushing down a little bit harder, gradually building, gradually building. We're at 60%. And we're at 80%. Oh, your breathing should match the intensity. We're at 100%. You're shallow breathing, you're barely breathing. This is a fight right here. This is hard, this is intense. There's nothing enjoyable about this right here. Push down as hard as you can, full body. Recruit as much muscle throughout your body as humanly possible and flip it 100% the other direction. Now we're trying to externally rotate. We're trying to lift the chair, the pipe, whatever you're grabbing off of the ground. Lift up, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Relax, relax, perfect. So we have 30 seconds here, back to relaxing, back to our nasal breathing. And then we have our passive range holds next. All right, so the passive range holds, remember, you're just gonna climb up. If you can climb up any higher, once the time is up, we'll start climbing up. We'll release, we'll hold for 5 seconds, and we're gonna do 5 repetitions of 5-second holds. All right, so again, we're trying to lock in and get strong in that new range of motion that we just gained from that last activity. All right, so she's gonna climb up if she can. Whenever she's ready, she'll release from the object. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and grab. Climb up if you can. And release. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and grab. Good. 2 down, 3 to go. And release. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Never dropping all the way to the ground. And release. Big breath in. Release the hand. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Last rep. Big air in. Breathe into that belly and release the pipe. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Parachute on down. We're done with our pipe or table, whatever we were using. All right, so we got our lift-offs now. So we're using our block or our textbook, whatever object we have, keeping our elbow underneath our rolled up t-shirt. We're gonna do 10 repetitions in a nice and slow and controlled manner, not lifting just from the wrist, we're lifting from the shoulders. Whenever you're ready, go ahead, lift off. Nice and controlled on the way down. Keeping the elbow at 90 degrees. Armpit and elbow are at 90. We got 10 total reps. This is rep number 4 right here. Make it slow, get a little squeeze at the top. 6 down, 4 more to go. Okay, you should feel this in the back of your shoulder. We got 2 more reps. We'll end with the swimmer after 1 more. Perfect. Getting rid of your rolled up towel, t-shirt, and your block. We're gonna place the palm on the back of the skull. She's gonna lift the elbow first, then get the palm off of the head, reach up overhead, internally rotate once you can no longer move backwards. Lift the elbow, get the backhand off of the lower back, slowly bringing it around. Palm behind the head and elbow down. 1 down, 4 to go. Elbow up, hand up, palms facing the ground, flipping the palm towards the sky when you need to, and then ending with that backhand on your lower back. Two down, 3 to go. Nice and slow. There's 0 rush on any of this stuff. Final 2 reps. Take note if you have discrepancies on right and left side. Not a big deal, but it might be something if you're noticing one side's a little bit worse than the other side. Maybe it means you just need to add an extra rep here and there on that extra side. Try to slowly over time create a little bit more of a balance. We're never going to be fully balanced side to side. Perfect. That's it for our shoulders. We're going to move on to our hips now. So we're going to transition over into a 90-90 sit. All right, so we're in our 90-90 position now. We got our right leg out in front. So we got 90-degree knee bends and hip bends. We're going to have our palm on the outside and inside of that right thigh. The spine is nice and straight. The chest is tall. We're not collapsing on down. We're trying to push our right glute backwards to get a nice stretch in that right outer hip. Perfect. So if you want to put your hand out in front of the shin, that works as well. Just find the stretch, but keep the spine nice and straight. So we're just bringing more of our chin in front of the knee or over our knee. We're here for 2 minutes. Stopwatch is going for us already. So same exact thing. We're doing the exact same concept as before. We got our Pales rail. So right now we're just enjoying our 20-second stretching, doing some good nasal breathing here. Then what we're gonna do for our contractions, we're pushing down into the ground with our outer leg. All right, so we're gonna push from the outside of the knee, outside of the shin, and the outside of the ankle. All's pushing down. We're gonna put a little bit more of an emphasis on the hip rotation. So I really want you to focus on driving that outside of your ankle bone through the ground. So the hip action is this into the ground. All right. Then the reversal will just be the opposite. So after our 100% 10-second hard contraction into the ground, we're then going to try to lift off of the ground. I don't want you to see just your ankle move. I want you to see you're trying to almost like you're hitting a hacky sack with that inner part of your foot. All right. It might not leave the ground. It probably won't. No big deal. But you're trying to lift it off the ground as hard as you can. We got another 20 seconds, and then we're going to start this off. All right, in 10 seconds, we'll start it up. Remember, we're going to slowly ramp up from 0 to 100. We're going to take a nice big breath in right now, pack the air down, and begin. We're pushing down to the ground gently. Gentle pushing down to the ground. We're at 20%. We're at 40%, pushing down a little bit harder. Should feel this in that right outer hip, right glute. We're at 60%. And we're at 80. Push down harder. A little bit of a muscle burn might be occurring. A little bit of shake might be occurring. 100%. Ready, set, go. Greatest, safest effort. Push your floor through the ground. Dent the floor. Halfway there, 5 seconds, 3 seconds, 2, 1, and flip it. We're trying to lift up now. So now you're using the stuff on the inside of your leg. You can feel this more in the groin region. We're halfway there. You got 3 seconds, 2 seconds, and relax into your stretch. Don't come out of it. Just relax. Switch to that nasal breathing. Just relax. We're here for 30 seconds. And then we're going to move in to a passive range hold. Exact same style setup as we did before. Not going to need a pipe. We're doing our Pales rails contraction, getting a little bit more loose, getting a little more mobile, and then we're going to try to capture and strengthen ourselves in some of these new ranges of motion. So for our passive range hold, we're going to do 5 reps of 5 seconds. Probably going to need to tilt your torso off to the right like she just did, coming down to the right forearm, right elbow. What we're going to do is we're trying to, just like we're hitting a hacky sack, we're going to try to lift this up off of the ground. So you're going to take your left hand, you're going to grab that left ankle or foot, keeping the outside of this knee on the ground. So we're rotating at the hip. She's going to lift up. She's going to take a huge breath of air in, pack the air down, release. Try not to let this drop. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and grab. The foot will never touch the ground. Big breath in. Release the hand. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and grab. Each rep trying to lift it up just a little bit higher if you can. Ready? Big air in. Release the foot. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and grab. 3 down, 2 to go. Lift up. Big air in. Release. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and grab. Last rep coming up. Big air in. And release. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and slowly bringing it on down to the ground. Passive range holds are complete. We're now going to do some lift-offs. Again, very similar concept to what we did with the shoulder. She's back in her nice and tall 90-90 sitting position. Chest is nice and upright. From here, she's going to try to lift this up as one piece, one unit. So knee, shin, and foot lifts up together. She's then going to kick out, extend, try to get the foot pointed straight to the sky. Slowly bring it down to the ground. Lift up, little quad hip flexor work, bend the knee, bring it back. We got 5, 10, what am I saying? 10 repetitions. 1 down, 9 to go. Lifting up. On that lift off, you should feel the inner thigh, the groin region working. What was that, 3?
2.
2. Very good. Honesty is very important, people. Be honest with yourselves and with your strength and conditioning coaches. 3 repetitions down. Nice and slow. Got to control every inch of this movement. Try to keep that torso. She's doing a great job keeping that torso nice and tall and upright and not leaning. You might have to lean. If you're a little immobile, you might be leaning into one direction. Over time, we want to try to be as upright and make this as challenging as humanly possible. After this one, we have one more activity to do on this leg, and then we're going to do the exact same thing on the other leg, and then we're done for a day. 10? Perfect. We're going to do a little something called kinetic stretching now. All right, so what's going to happen is she starts off nice and tall. She's going to take those arms out. She's going to put them out to her side. She's going to create fists. We're going to try to be as tight and tense as humanly possible. Recruit as much muscle as you can. All right, she's going to slowly fall forward, but just don't think about just falling. Think about pulling yourself forward with that front right leg inner thigh. She's pulling herself forward, and then she's going to reverse it. She's going to use that right glute, and she's going to push through the floor with this right leg, and that's how she's getting back up. So it's not just a torso fall forward. We're going to do 5 repetitions here. So pulling herself down with that right groin inner thigh, and then pushing away with that right glute. I know when I do this, I cannot have my arms straight out to the sides like this on both sides. So this is going to be more of your advanced style. If you need to, you bring your arms in a little bit closer. You might even have to kickstand one of your hands down on the ground. Wherever you're at, it's cool. Just slowly progress over time. That was our 5th rep. Perfect. Now we're going to do a little transition to get into our other side. So what she's going to do is she's going to lift this left knee up, keeping the left foot on the ground, get it up as high as she can. Once she can't get it up any higher, this leg's going to slowly follow behind her. We're going to get into the 90-90 position on the second leg. Perfect. And now we're going to go right into our 2-minute stretch. 2 minutes on the clock. Find a stretch, push your left glute backwards. Perfect. All right, so we got our 2-minute stretch going on right now. Or the spine is straight. We're not just kissing the floor with our face. All right, we want to actually strengthen ourselves in some good spinal positions here. If you can't find a stretch, push that left butt backwards. Keep that chest nice and tall. Just lean the torso forward. Left butt is getting pushed back, separating the left glute from that left kneecap. We got another 72 seconds on the clock. Once this is up, we're going to do our Pales Rails. So it's the exact same thing. We're pushing down through the floor. We're trying to dent the floor with our left outer lower leg from the foot, shin, and knee. But again, we're working on that rotation. So I want you to think about moving at the hip in this direction. We're rotating at the hip into the ground. We're going in 50 seconds. Exact same routine as we did on the right leg, and then we're out of here. Again, 30 seconds. Twenty seconds. And 10. And 5. Take a nice little breath in here and begin pushing down gently into the ground. 20%. 40%. Push down a little bit harder, slowly turning the dial up to get to that 100. 60. And 80. And 100% as hard as humanly possible, the greatest, safest effort you can, pushing from that left glute. The left outer hip should feel this. You're on stretch and you're strengthening at the same exact time. 2 more seconds, 1 more second, and flip it, lift up, try to lift that foot off of the ground. Keep the knee and foot moving as one unit. Remember, we're trying to rotate and relax into your stretch. Keep your torso where it is or lean just slightly further forward. We got 30 seconds, and then we'll move on to our passive range holds. Breathing in and out slowly through your nose. Don't be a mouth breather. I don't like mouth breathers. 5 more seconds. Kickstanding out to that left elbow if you need to, which most of you most likely will. She's going to grab that foot, keeping the outside of the left knee on the earth. Lift up, big belly breath in, air in, release. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Grab. Foot never touches the ground. Lift up, big breath in, and release. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Grab it, lift it, air in, release. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, grab, lift, air in, release. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, grab, release. You can hold your breath the entire 5-second hold here. Stay tight, stay tense. 2, 1, grab, last rep, and release it. Hold it, hold it. See that leg? We're trying to avoid that drop. 2, 1, parachute on down. Passive range holds are complete. Coming back up into that tall spinal position. We're going off to our lift offs now. So she's going to lift up. Feeling that inner thigh working. Straightening that leg out. We got 10 of these bad boys. Parachute down each time. It's slow. It's controlled. It's painful. It's a little agonizing. It's kin stretch. Good. Hear that breath. Gotta use the breath here. It's going to make it a little bit more manageable for you. It's going to let you get into some better ranges of motion. Just like a max effort lift here. Use your breath. Breathe in, lift up. Is that 5? Halfway there. After this, all we have left is that kinetic stretch. The end is near. Be out of here in about 90 seconds. Done? 10 repetitions. Perfect. Kinetic stretching time. Last thing, 5 repetitions. Hands out to the side, create some fists. Pull yourself. Use the inner thigh. Use that inner thigh groin region, and then use the glute to push yourself away from the earth. Pulling yourself down actively. Spine is straight. Spine is straight. Good. Bring the sternum as close to that kneecap as you can. 2 down, 3 to go. you're finding this at all easy, slow it down. Don't just fall down, actively pull yourself down. Pull yourself down, push yourself away from the ground. We're working inner thigh, and now we're working outer hip. Perfect. Look at that. Kin stretch. Hips and shoulders.